There is a kind of person who can survive the whole week, every meeting, every errand, every difficult conversation, and then quietly fall apart on a Sunday night around 9, not on Sunday afternoon. Sunday at 9, 10, 11 at night, when the dishes are done, when tomorrow's clothes are already laid out, when you have technically done everything right. That is when something inside the chest gets heavy. Not panic, not exactly sadness, more like a slow, low dread that arrives without permission. You scroll a little longer than usual. You don't want the night to end, but you also don't want to be awake inside it. You feel slightly nauseous, and you can't tell if it is the dinner or your own week. And the cruelest part of it is the labels you give yourself in that exact moment. Weak, dramatic, lazy, spoiled. You tell yourself other people are working twice as hard and not falling apart on a Sunday night. You tell yourself you are making it bigger than it is. You tell yourself you should be able to enjoy a Sunday without ruining it for yourself. Those labels hurt. They hurt because you have said them to yourself so many Sundays in a row that they sound like the truth. But today, I want to tell you something. There is a real neurological reason your body does this. And once you understand it, the self-attack quiets down on its own. Welcome to the Cloud Brain. Today we are going to talk about what I am calling anticipatory cortisol and why your Sunday nights hurt more than your Mondays. Let me describe something you probably already know without having the words for it. You wake up on a Monday morning and, yes, it is hard. You don't want to get up. The first hour is heavy, but then you move, you shower, you drink coffee, you arrive somewhere, you start doing things. By 10 in the morning, you are mostly functional. The dread you felt at 6 is mostly gone, replaced by the simple work of the day. Now think about Sunday night. You aren't doing anything difficult. You aren't even doing anything. You are sitting on a couch. The lights are low. There is nothing happening. And yet, somehow, that emptiness feels worse than the actual Monday morning that comes after it. That asymmetry is the clue. The dread is not coming from the work. The dread is coming from the anticipation of the work in a body that has gone quiet enough to feel it. There is a name for this in research. It is the anticipatory stress response. And it begins, measurably, the night before. A researcher named Clemens Kirschbaum has spent decades studying cortisol, the hormone your adrenal glands release in response to stress. His team and others have shown something very specific. Your cortisol does not just rise when you are stressed in the moment. It rises in anticipation of stress that has not happened yet. Your body learns the pattern of your week, and by Sunday night, it is already beginning to brace. This anticipatory rise is so reliable that researchers can use it to predict how anxious a person will be the next morning. Hours before you open your eyes on Monday, your endocrine system is already preparing for the load. Your blood sugar shifts, your heart rate variability narrows, your muscles tighten subtly. None of this is conscious, none of this is dramatic. It is just your body doing math. So when you sit on the couch at 9 on Sunday and feel that low, heavy thing in your chest, you are not imagining it. You are feeling the early edge of a hormonal preparation that your body started without asking your permission. And there is more than just cortisol going on. A chronobiologist named Till Ronenberg coined the term social jet lag to describe something almost everyone in modern life experiences without naming it. During the work week, you wake up at, say, 6:30. On Saturday and Sunday, you sleep until 9 or 10. That 2 or 3 hour gap between your weekday and weekend wait times is, biologically, the same as flying across 2 or 3 time zones every single weekend. By Sunday night, your circadian system is somewhere over the Atlantic, trying to land back home. Your melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it is night, gets confused. It releases late because your body has slept in for 2 days and thinks it is still on a later schedule. So you sit on the couch at 9, biologically not yet sleepy, but emotionally already aware that you have to be up at 6. The mismatch itself creates a low-grade physiological alarm. This is why Sunday nights are uniquely hard. Other weeknights, your sleep timing is mostly aligned. Saturday nights, you have permission to stay up. But Sunday night is the moment your body tries to snap back to the weekday rhythm it spent 2 days drifting from. Of course it feels heavy. You are jet-lagged inside your own apartment. There is one more piece, and this one is about the brain itself. Marcus Reichley, a neuroscientist at Washington University, discovered something in the late 1990s that changed how we understand the resting mind. He called it the default mode network. It is the set of brain regions that activate when you are not focused on a task, when you are staring at the ceiling, when you are folding laundry, when you are sitting on a couch on a Sunday night with nothing to do. The default mode network is responsible for self-referential thought, for autobiographical memory, for thinking about the future, for imagining other people thinking about you. In other words, it is the network of rumination. During the work week, the default mode network is mostly suppressed. You are busy. There are tasks. There are deadlines. There are other people's faces in front of you. Your brain does not have the bandwidth to drift inward. So it doesn't. But on a Sunday night, the tasks are done. The faces are gone. The lights are low. There is nothing pulling your attention outward. And the default mode network, which has been politely waiting all week, takes over the room. It does what it does. It rehearses the meetings of the week ahead. It replays the conversation you had on Thursday that did not sit right. It scrolls through your to-do list. It calculates how tired you will be on Wednesday. It does this not because you are anxious by nature, but because that is what your brain does in stillness when stillness is rare. So here's what is actually happening on a Sunday night around 9. Your cortisol is climbing in anticipation of Monday. Your circadian system is fighting a small jet lag. Your default mode network is finally allowed to speak, and it has things to say. And your dopamine, which spent the weekend slightly elevated from rest and autonomy and novelty, is now beginning its natural fall back to baseline. 4 systems, all converging in the same dim room, in the same body, on the same couch, at roughly the same hour every week. You are not weak. You are not spoiled. You are not making it bigger than it is. You are just unusually aware of a real, multi-system biological event that most people feel and shrug off. That awareness is not a flaw. It is part of what makes you the kind of person you are. Because not everyone feels this. Some people sit on the couch on Sunday night and feel almost nothing. They go to bed at 11 and wake up at 6 and start the week with a kind of flat readiness. They are not better than you. Their dopaminergic system is calmer. Their default mode network is less reactive. Their interoception, the sense of what is happening inside their own body, is quieter. But you, watching this, are probably not that. You feel internal weather, the way other people feel external weather. You notice the small shifts inside your chest, the way other people notice the rain starting outside. Your interoception is high. That is a trait. It has costs. It also has gifts. But on a Sunday night, it sends you the bill, and the world has not been kind about it. You have probably been told that you overthink, that you should just enjoy the day, that you make things harder than they need to be. Maybe a partner has rolled their eyes when you said you felt heavy on Sunday night. Maybe a parent told you to stop being so sensitive. Maybe you have started apologizing in advance for being quiet on Sunday evenings, as if your nervous system needed permission to do what it was already doing, and so a cycle forms. The body braces. You feel the bracing. You judge the bracing. The judgment adds its own layer of stress, which adds more cortisol, which makes the bracing worse. By the time you actually try to sleep, you are not just anxious about Monday. You are anxious about being anxious. And that second layer is the one that keeps you awake until 1 in the morning scrolling on a phone you don't even want to be holding. That second layer is not the body's fault. That is the layer the label's built. So let me say this clearly. There is nothing wrong with how you are built. The heavy feeling on Sunday night is not a character flaw. It is the visible surface of 4 biological systems doing exactly what they evolved to do in a body that has finally gone quiet enough to feel them. The flaw, if there is one, is that nobody told you the systems existed. You have been taking the blame for tides you did not cause. And here is something worth sitting with. There is a deeper framework that makes sense of all this. A psychologist named Elaine Aron has spent 30 years studying what she calls sensory processing sensitivity. About 15 to 20% of the population is born with a nervous system that processes input more deeply than average. They notice subtle changes in lighting. They feel tension in a room before anyone speaks it. They are more affected by caffeine, by hunger, by loud noise, by other people's moods. And, crucially, they are more affected by internal signals too. The small rise in cortisol, the small shift in heart rate, the small drift of circadian timing. These are not different signals than what other people get. They are the same signals, received by a body that listens more carefully. A nervous system like that is not broken. In many contexts, it is the most useful kind of nervous system to have. Highly sensitive people, in Aron's research, tend to be unusually good at noticing what others miss, at pattern recognition, at empathic accuracy, at deep work. They make excellent therapists, writers, designers, doctors, parents. But on a Sunday night at 9, when the four systems converge, that same gift becomes a weight. You feel everything the calmer person also feels. You just feel it louder. This is not a problem to fix. It is an architecture to understand. There are real costs. Sunday nights are harder for you. Recovery from a busy week takes longer for you. Anticipation pulls more from you than from someone else. Things that look small to others land in you with more force. None of that should be minimized. And there are real gifts. You sense things early. You read rooms accurately. You catch tone shifts and messages that other people miss. You write or work or care in ways that come from a system that pays attention. The same machinery that ruins your Sunday night is the machinery that makes you good at the things you are good at. In a world that changes slowly, this kind of body was sometimes a liability. In a world that asks for nuance, for empathy, for early warning sensitivity, this kind of body might be exactly what the world needs more of. The Sunday night cost is the price of admission. It is not evidence that something is wrong with you. So what do you actually do with this? Here is the first practice. Stop arguing with the feeling. When the heaviness arrives at 9 on Sunday, do not try to talk yourself out of it. Do not run a logical case for why Monday will be fine. The feeling is not a thought. It is a hormone in a circadian shift and a network of brain regions doing their evening rounds. You cannot logic a hormone. You can only let it move through. What helps is naming what is happening, plainly, without panic. Saying to yourself, my cortisol is rising, my body is preparing. This is the anticipatory phase. This is not new information about my life. That kind of accurate naming reduces the second layer. It does not remove the first layer. The first layer was always going to be there. The second layer, the panic about the panic, is the one you can dissolve. The second practice is about the gap between your weekday and weekend sleep. Social jet lag is real, and it makes Sunday night harder than it has to be. You do not have to wake up at 6 on a Saturday, but if you can keep weekend wait times within about 90 minutes of your weekday wait time, the Sunday night landing is dramatically softer. Sleep in if you want, just not by 3 hours. Your circadian system can absorb a small drift. It cannot absorb a transatlantic flight every weekend. The third practice is the most counterintuitive. Give your Sunday evening less open space, not more. The instinct is to protect Sunday night as sacred rest. Long bath. No plans. Stillness. And then the default mode network walks in and runs the room. For a sensitive nervous system, a Sunday evening with too much open space is the worst possible terrain for the four converging systems. The brain has nothing to do but anticipate. So consider what I will call a soft anchor. One small, quiet, low-stakes thing planned for Sunday evening. A specific show you actually want to watch. A simple meal you cook slowly. A walk at a specific hour. A short call with someone gentle. The point is not productivity. The point is to give the default mode network a small task so it does not turn the entire evening into a rehearsal of Monday. Sensitive systems do better with a thin scaffold than with empty space. And one last thing. You are not someone who falls apart on Sundays. You are someone whose body tells the truth earlier than other bodies do. The dread you feel at 9 on a Sunday night is not weakness. It is information. It is your nervous system showing you, in real time, that it is paying attention to the week ahead, the way it has always paid attention to everything. You do not need to fix that body. You need to stop blaming it. You need to give it more accurate company, the kind that names the tide instead of arguing with it. You need to know that the heaviness is real and finite and weekly and survivable, and that it does not mean anything about who you are or how you are doing in your life. It is just Sunday at 9. Your body remembers what tomorrow is. If something here resonated, this is your place. We will keep talking about how brains and bodies like this one work, how they brace, how they recover, and how they find their way through the quiet hours.